Hi everyone, welcome back to Lola's Frugal Life podcast. This is my weekly meal plan episode where I share with you my family's meal plan for the upcoming week. This comes out every Wednesday, and I have a blog post that comes out on the same day that includes the whole weekly meal plan, including links to any recipes that I mentioned in this episode. I do rotate my meals frequently, so you're not always going to hear a whole bunch of new recipes, but I do throw in some things when I can. For me, it's more important to have a meal plan rather than always having something new on the menu, although that would be nice, but I like to have a meal plan that's really easy to do, and by rotating my meals on a regular basis, it helps me keep that going and keep it easy to always have a meal plan for the upcoming week when I am busy or just don't have time for new recipes. And like I always say, meal planning saves so much money and time because you actually are purchasing what you're going to actually be eating. So this week's meal plan starts on Saturday, July 8th. So for Saturday, we are going to be doing brats and a caprese salad. For the brats, I sometimes will cook them on the grill, but honestly, most of the time now, I cook them in the air fryer because they come out like totally perfect, perfectly browned. They're just so easy to do. I just throw them in there raw and I cook them. I forget the temperature, but I'll put it on the blog post. But basically, even if you just look up like air fryer sausage or whatever and you just follow the ingredients or the recipe, I think it's basically like 300 and some degrees for like say maybe 10 minutes, and then you flip them over and then you do it for like another 5 to 10 minutes. It's really basic. You could just look it up, but they come out really good like that. And then like I said, as a side, we're going to do caprese salad. That's from allrecipes.com. This is just a very simple, basic caprese salad. It has fresh mozzarella, cherry tomatoes, fresh basil leaves, and olive oil and salt and pepper. And very soon I will have cherry tomatoes from my container garden and fresh basil leaves from my container garden. So I love making this salad in the summer when I actually have my own fresh ingredients I can use. So for Sunday, we are going to do Parmesan crusted pork chops. This is from allrecipes.com. These are just a real simple pork chop coated with egg and Parmesan cheese, and then you bake them in the oven. And then we're going to be doing that with bacon and spinach pasta with Parmesan as a side, and that recipe is from budgetbites.com. This is kind of like a one dish type meal or side dish, whatever. It can be a meal or a side dish. I've been making it as a side. I've been making it. I've only made it one other time, I think, but I decided to do it as a side next time because it wasn't quite enough to feed my whole family. It was one of those meals where there was like just enough to feed us. So I'm doing it as a side, but it's like one of those one pot meals. It's got like bacon and spinach and pasta, and it came together pretty quickly. So we're going to do that to go with the pork chops. For Monday, it's our hot dog day. We do that once a month or every 4 weeks, whatever. So for the hot dogs, I just cook up some hot dogs. I usually boil them on the stove, but lately I've been doing them on the grill now that it's summer. I will do some canned chili, and I just bought some really good sauerkraut from Aldi that we've been really liking, so I have that out with them too. And then I'll usually do some potatoes in the air fryer. I just chop up potatoes, peppers, and onions, toss them with a little olive oil and salt and pepper, and cook them up in the air fryer until they are like a nice, like cooked consistency. And that's a super quick, easy night for dinner. For Tuesday, that's our Mexican themed meal. So this Tuesday, we're going to be doing sheet pan chicken fajitas, which is from foodnetwork.com. It's really just your basic fajita recipe. It's like the chicken and peppers and onions and some seasoning, and you just cook it in the oven. And we are going to be serving that with flour tortillas and then also with some white rice if anyone wants to make a bowl instead of having the fajita on a tortilla. For Wednesday, it's our seafood night. I usually do the baked salmon like every other week about. So this week we're having the baked salmon. For the salmon, I don't have like an actual recipe link, but all I do is I take individually frozen salmon, I defrost it, of course I defrost it. I defrost it in the morning. When it's time for dinner, I just put it in a baking dish, brush it with olive oil and McCormick Smokehouse maple seasoning, bake it in the oven at 450 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes, and it comes out perfect. And then as a side with that, we'll do some buttered egg noodles and some frozen vegetables, whatever I happen to have in the freezer. I always have like some of those steam fresh kind you just stick in the microwave. And one of our new favorites, which actually doesn't take too long and I could actually do with this meal if I choose to, is I think it's Bird's Eye. I forget what brand it is, but they have these like breaded green beans, and they're really good. You just bake them in the oven for like, I don't know, it might be like 10 minutes or something like that. So we've been liking those as a vegetable side also. I've been grabbing those when I see them on sale. Then Thursday, we either do soup for dinner or breakfast for dinner, because that's the night I go food shopping. So it just makes life a little bit easier to do a simple meal. So this week I'm going to be doing breakfast, and we're going to do sausage and cheese crescent roll breakfast casserole. This is from SavvySavingCouple.net. It's basically just a casserole that has ground sausage, crescent rolls in it, eggs, milk, shredded cheese, and you bake it till it's done, and that's an easy meal. What I usually try and do with that is I'll put it together before I go grocery shopping, because it takes me about an hour. I just do grocery pickups and then I get gas while I'm out there, but I pick up from 3 stores that are all like pretty much right in the same location. But I do 3 grocery pickups and then I'll get gas. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just get that ready like right before I leave, because it's super easy to get ready. And I'll just pop it in the oven, set the timer. I'll tell someone in my family to make sure they see, if the timer ends, to take it out of the oven. But then that's nice to just kind of have it ready when I get home. I just put the groceries away and dinner's already done. So that's for Thursday. And then the last meal on this week's meal plan is for Friday. And this is 1 pot creamy pesto chicken pasta. This is from budgetbites.com. And this is another one of those like one dish meals. Basically, I think you cook yes, you do cook the pasta in the same skillet. So yeah, it's all together. It's chicken, penne pasta, spinach, and I think it's got chicken broth, pesto, sun-dried tomatoes. It's really good, and it's a quick, easy meal. I love those like skillet, like one dish type of meals. So that's a nice, easy one for Friday night. So that is it for this week's meal plan. Like I said, you can find this full meal plan along with any links to recipes I mentioned in this episode on my website at lolasfrugallife.com. So that's it for this week. I will see you back here next week. So thank you for checking in for this podcast episode. And don't forget, you can always email me with any questions or suggestions at lolasfrugallife@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at lolasfrugallife. And you can find a blog post for most of my episodes and definitely all of my meal plan episodes at lolasfrugallife.com. You can also join our private listeners group at facebook.com/groups/lolasfrugallife. And if you enjoy the show, please make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen from. And I would love it if you would screenshot the show and tag me on Instagram so I could see you're listening. Also, if you can please take a couple of seconds to rate and review the podcast. Those ratings and reviews are what help the show come up better in search results so that other people can find this podcast. So that will really help me in growing my audience. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have an awesome day.